Hi, everybody. Today's special guest is some very special authors, and they are Dani Ryan, a sister writing duo. So, would you guys like to introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Sure. So I'm Dani. Hi, I'm Ryan. And we write romantic comedies.
I cannot believe that we are already talking about the third book in the Morelli Sisters series.
I know. It feels like yesterday when we started it. It feels like yesterday when it became this idea for us.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I definitely feel you. It's the third one, and we're really excited. And I think time flew by so fast for us. When we started writing it, it was like just this nugget of an idea. And then the first book came out, and it was exciting. And then the second book came out, and it was like, oh my gosh, we're really like getting into the series. And then the third book, we announced it, and the cover reveal happened, and as it just keeps happening, it's so fast. Time does not stop. It doesn't slow down. It just keeps going, and we are loving it, and we're loving that there's been so much excitement and acceptance for this sister series. Yeah, it's really cool, and every day I think we're just so humbled by that, and we're so excited by that. It's its own like motivation.
I love that so much. I just discovered your all's work, like, I don't know if it was September or somewhere around in there last year. And so I've only known you guys for like a few months, but yet it feels like forever in a way.
I know. I definitely get that. Well, that's when Don't Tell Me Twice, book one in the series, released.
Yes.
So, I'm not surprised. that was like our big kind of, we really tried to like push hard to make sure that like that this series got like the attention it deserved, I think, when we were really excited about it. And I think it's because we had that special place in our heart for this idea of the sisters. So, yeah, and it was our first rom-com series. So it was definitely something special. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew when I read it, it was just going to be like a book that would stay with me. And I had to get like the paperback copy for myself. And so I was so excited when Say It Isn't So came around and we got to see even more of the series.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love that. I think as you continue on too with the sisters, you feel like, you want to be a Morelli sister, and you get to know them and the family, the cousins and the father and even the mother, honestly, and you get to see the whole family. And as you get to know them, I think, there's this level of like, it's heartwarming and it's wholesome, and you just can't help but be like, you want to be a Morelli sister, you want to be part of the family and their tradition.
Right.
And that was really important to us, because those are some of the books that we always love in reading as well. Those ones where you want to be the characters and you want to be part of it. So that was definitely like an important consideration, I think, in crafting it.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like you're reading about like a cohesive family, and you just want to know their story, and you want to know about each character and see like what couple is going to be. And it's just very, very exciting to get to experience that with each new book that has come out.
Oh, I love that, and I'm so glad. I mean, that's great. It makes me so happy to hear that that's like the perception, and you guys feel that. That's the best, honestly, because we feel it when we write it, but of course, when y'all read it, it's different, and we love seeing the readers' reactions, and you guys get so excited over it. So
yeah, it's been really fun because like I have even seen people gushing about this book who has been arc readers for it, or who is now starting to see these characters and what it's all about. And y'all are already racking up so many great reviews for this new book, There Are No Words. Do you want to kind of tell a little bit of what readers can expect from that?
Oh, so There Are No Words was, and I think I could speak on behalf of both of us. Yeah. It was our favorite book we've written so far. It was definitely different. When we went into it, we loved Allegra's character, and because you had met her in the first two books, of course, and she was so different. She was quirky and fun and lovable, but she was also sassy and bold and somewhat flirty, but mostly just bold. Definitely the sister that had no issue speaking her mind, and saying what she was thinking. I mean, she was no holds bar. It just was so natural. And I think, the dynamic with the sisters, that personality, we didn't realize it at first, I'd say, but, as we grew and we started working in the book, we realized, there's something special here with that. And it just kind of, and it made it more enjoyable to also kind of delve into that. And, of course, we needed a man that was going to be able to match that.
Yeah. Right.
And it all started to come together from there. But this book was definitely special. It's got, accidental pregnancy. You have the roommates to lovers. She's a dirty talking MMC, which was perfect for her personality.
Yeah.
Where she's kind of no holds bar, and he loves that, and she loves him, that dirty talking, and his, saying it like it is personality. So it was definitely interesting to put the two together and write them. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we didn't even really plot the idea of Brady being our MMC. I think that happened totally natural. It was in book 2, at the end, okay, maybe semi-spoiler, but he was at the end in a trip to the Hamptons. But he's her roommate there. We did not have any expectations over that. We wrote it, we thought it was interesting, and we ended up just liking his character. Yeah. And it kind of just went from there, and it was just perfect. So we figured, he has to be the man.
I love that so much because I knew from right when I was introduced to Brady that he was going to be one of my favorite book boyfriends. He just was so swoon worthy, and they were just, the dynamic between him and Allegra were just perfect. So you guys did a great job, and I'm so happy I got to read an early copy, and I can't wait for everyone else to be able to pick up this book.
Oh, thank you.
So, you guys are a sister writing duo, but have you always wanted to write, or was that just something spontaneous that you thought one day, what if we tried this? Has it always been a dream, or?
No. So we always knew we wanted to write. Mm-hmm. It was something that individually we had talked about, I want to be an author, and then we both just wanted to do it. And we did do it separately for a hot second. And I mean, no, it was a really hot second. It was fine. No one's ever read it. No one will ever read it. We'll never see the light of day. But we came together in reading each other's work, and then we realized our tone of voice is so similar, and we made each other's work better, and it made more sense that way. So we decided to come together. Yeah, I mean, at first we were like, okay, well, let's see what we think, and in a way it was okay, well, can I edit this? And she was like, yeah, let's try that. So we start marking it up, and we realized, okay, maybe this isn't bad, but by itself it's missing something. And I think we just it was that magic when we come together. It was like lightning in a bottle, and we were like, okay, this is kind of cool, and we need to do it together because it just adds something. And it's more fun, honestly.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Actually, for a funny story for those listening who does not know, I actually thought you were just a solo author. That's how similar y'all's tone of voice is. I literally thought I was reading a solo author's work for Don't Tell Me Twice. And then y'all announced it more recently, and I was just wait, it's 2?
We talked about it at first, and we were like, okay, we definitely an amalgamation of the two of us it became, but then I don't know, I'm not sure how it happened. I don't think we really set out to ever be one, or more than two. I think readers think it was one. It was just, it kind of just happened. And then it got away from us. Dani loves social, and she lives for that, and that's where her fun is. And so I of, you talk, people thought it was talking the we.
Right.
So you talk in the I, and then it just kind of, like, spiraled, and time went on, and we were like, okay, wait, maybe, like, people should really know.
I love that so much. It made it, like, so much, like, exciting anyway, because it was, like, this news flash that, like, the group chat was just like, whoa, I had no idea. This is amazing. So, like, we just got double the fun out of it, so.
Yeah. This is true. It was fun. I mean, it was fun for us, too, because we were like, okay, well, wait a minute. Like, now we can finally, I guess, be a we and come out as that, and it won't sound weird to say we, and, it's just so much more known. And it's more fun because we're almost able to, like, take a step back for just a second from the writing, from the process, and be able to share more and be able to connect more. And that was really important to us.
I love that. Speaking of, like, creating these stories together, what's, like, the process for that? Like, do you guys literally, like, take turns, or do you know, like, specific scenes or specific characters that each of you is going to write before you start a book?
So we actually have no set plans when we go into it. It's funny, but it's, I guess, like, a chaotic mess, but it's, like, our organized mess in a way. We go into it, and we're pantsers, so there's really no plotting. We'll plot the beginning of the book and see what happens from there, but the characters really take us from there. So when it comes to it, it's more just, I'll write something and she'll pick up where I left off, or I'll pick up where she left off, and there's really no telling who wrote it. So it's just, like, kind of whatever goes. Yeah. Whatever feels comfortable. I would say, like, once we figure out the characters and, like, the general tropes, then, I think, like, the overarching, like, story that we're trying to tell, at that point, it's like, well, let's just do this, and let's just see, like, where it goes. So it's natural. And I would say, like, the only thing that we really sit down and actually divide is, like, the prologue or chapter 1, like, the beginning. Because I think, like, someone has to have a vision for that to set it on a track.
Yeah.
And then otherwise it's just, like, that's a disaster. So one of us will do that. We're never sure who's going to do it either, honestly. And we always go in, right, and we edit and we add to it. So at the end of the day, she can't tell if she actually wrote it, and I can't tell if I wrote it, because it just comes together. But we do sit down and we'll say, like, especially with book 3, I remember we sat down and I said, like, are you vibing more with, like, Allegra before the character kind of gets away from us? Like, are you vibing with her more? Do you have ideas for it? And it kind of just goes from there. And I remember she said, like, I'm not sure. So for this one, it was like both of us kind of went in and did it. We actually went in the document at the exact same time and worked on the first chapter. And it was kind of just like cut, paste, like, she was writing, I added, I laid down a few lines, and then I was like, but wait, something's wrong. I think, like, maybe the intention was that I would start it, and then it ran. But we kind of knew, I think, like, setting that tone of, like, okay, well, here's Allegra, and, like, run with it. So maybe this time we actually probably didn't divide, but it's more like we did this one together. But we will usually divide chapter 1 and then go from there, honestly. Well, for, like, Sayers and So, I think that was you. Dani ran with that one and, like, set that tone, and that was fun because she had this whole vision. And then you did Perla. Yeah. I think so Ryan did Don't Tell Me Twice. And she knew exactly what she wanted with Perla, and I said, like, you know what, go for it then, because it's, we knew the characters we wanted when we went into it, but when she had that vision, I felt like, you know what, you lay the foundation for the character, and I'll run with that character. Yeah. So I think in a way, it's not like we each have characters, but also we do. It's more just, like, something I think, like, you connect with, I guess. And then from there, it really is this, like, giant amalgamation and this, like, whole, like, combined effort for sure. But getting there, I guess, like, that's probably the only point we really, like, would say there's separation or, like, a distinction.
That is actually amazing. It's always so fun to like hear how authors' brains work and like how they go about writing the story or plotting the story. So when you got two writing a book together, like that really does pique a lot of questions, and so it's really fun to get to see like what it looks like from y'all's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun, and sometimes like to be a fly on the wall is probably like would be an amusing experience for many.
Yeah.
I think we talk about them so much too, right? Like we talk about them, like even in our spare time. Honestly, we'll have like lunch together, and we'll just be like, okay, so, and we'll just start talking about the Morelli Sisters and getting them together and a new scene. And sometimes something just bursts from the scene, and then it's like, oh my gosh, we have to go and write that. Or she'll say like, I have a whole scene in my head, and then we just like have to go. So yeah, it's just like, kind of comes together.
I love how that works because, you wouldn't think that it would be that easily to create like one cohesive piece of work. Like I said, I would not have ever known if you guys had never announced that it was two authors doing the same thing. So it's really fun getting to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to do. I don't know if that's normal or the norm or standard, but it works for us.
Yeah, I was going to say,
love it.
It's working, so that's... Speaking of Don't Tell Me Twice, and which is the first book in the Morelli Sisters series, it started out as like a closed door rom-com, right? So, like, and then you sort of up the ante a little bit with Say It Isn't So, and then for the third book, it's got a lot more spice compared to the first and second. So what was like going and changing that sort of format?
So there was really we didn't actually know we were going to go from closed door to open door.
Mm-hmm.
We did Don't Tell Me Twice, and it was closed door. That was the intention.
Right.
And that was what we had written even before this. Yeah, like the style that we were writing in, and it was comfortable, and it was good, and we enjoyed it. And then when we were in Don't Tell Me Twice, we wrote the individual personalities for each of the sisters. Mm-hmm. And I remember when we wrote Bianca, she was so flirty.
Yes.
That's positive. And so just like comfortable with herself, her body, all of it. And I remember I said, like, I don't know how that's going to work, closed door, but we'll make it work. Because it was just so much fun to write her. Mm-hmm. And we loved her character. And then when it came to Say It Isn't So, we didn't even think it would be open door. We thought it would be closed door, and it was until we got to a certain point where we were writing a scene, and we looked at each other and we said, like, this scene, we'd do it justice if it was open door. We needed to make this spicy. And it was an imposition we came to lightly, but it made the most sense. Mm-hmm. And we talked to like the whole team about it, and we all just decided this makes the most sense. So we did make that transition from closed door to spicy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's about like doing justice by the characters. Mm-hmm. And even Knox, I mean, like they just, for them, I think that was very fitting. They needed that. And yeah, I mean, well, we kind of, like you said, it was almost like, we did it because it was necessary for them in that story. And so, and it was later. It was later. Yeah, and then we definitely, like, upped the ante because we realized, wow, we really had fun with that,
Yeah.
And, I mean, to differentiate them and to Allegra being bold, and now you have an accidental pregnancy. I mean, like, it's more than just being flirty. It was just more than that, And
yeah.
Brady has that was distinct. Yeah, and then Brady has that rough around the edges and personality, and it just needed to be even more spicy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it just, I think it depends on the character for sure. The spice level, but I also think we had so much fun with that. So we definitely did enter our spicy era with Say It Isn't So, and we're not going to look back on that. I think we're really happy with it, and it's fun, and we enjoy it so much. So
yeah, I mean the response from readers has been insane. Like I think you guys made a great call when it comes to creating these stories and staying true to the characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank you. First of all, I think that's it's It's always nice to hear. Yeah. So, yeah, it means a lot, and we do appreciate that. And we do see some of, like, the posts and stuff and the response, and it's really nice, and it's really heartwarming, and it feels great to know that it's being well received. I think there's always, like, a little bit of nerves when you make a change, and, yeah, I remember we were slightly nervous, because there's definitely different readership, and we weren't sure how appreciated it would be and how accepted it would be, but everyone's been really great about it, and we've gotten new readers, which is amazing, and yeah, the whole response from it was great. So yeah, we're really happy, obviously, and I don't know. I mean, it's fun, and I have to say, I was really surprised when we meet Brady Dirty Talking. I was so pleasantly surprised. I said to Dani, like, I really love this. Like, I love him. I mean, he's the whole package.
He was fantastic.
He's really sweet. Yeah, I mean, he's sweet, and he's rough around the edges, like she said. And then you have this whole other side to him that's, like, demanding and in charge, right? Like, I don't even know. I mean, it just, that shocked me, too, because I was like, oh, did I love this? Like, I did. Like, he's got that Tom Riley side, too. He's, like, funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of points in the book, especially because it's that accidental pregnancy, that allowed for that, like, funny side to come out, and he has a brother, and we see it definitely come out with him. And he has a problem with Allegra's OBGYN, which is funny, and it was definitely, like, interesting to write him, and he really is, like you said, the whole package. It really is. I mean, I was shocked by how much I loved that pairing and him. I mean, you don't always, like I said, I don't think you always plan it, and then the characters just take a life of their own and a form of their own, and he was special. Yeah. I just love Brady.
It was so good, and like you said, that when he first met her doctor, I was, like, dying laughing inside. I can't wait for people to experience that. It was so much fun.
Yeah, writing those scenes were definitely fun, and I love them, so, yeah.
I know that you all have just, like, posted, like, the last teaser before the book is actually out, like, on your socials as of now that we're recording this. And so, like, what is your favorite part, like, leading up to a release? Like, is it picking what quotes? Like, how do you go about, like, what part you're going to tease, like, for the world to see?
It's so funny that you say that. You just actually, like, hit the nail on the head. That's probably it. That's our favorite. I mean, creating the teasers and picking the quotes that's gonna go out there to entice everyone and to get you guys so excited, that's the best part. And we are never really sure what we're gonna pick, but we end up, as we're writing, compiling all these teasers together, all these quotes that we are just obsessed with and we love, and then we think, like, this quote would be amazing, or it's such an out of context quote, which is also, like, something else I love to do. I love to pick those out of context quotes because they're funny, and also it's just like, wow, you really think it's one thing, and then sometimes it totally isn't. But creating the teasers and doing that is definitely the best part. Yeah, I mean, it's not only when we're writing it too. For us, I mean, we do, like, a final read through of the book, and we do it aloud sometimes, most times actually. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, we kind of sometimes, like, act it out. I think we, like, jump into the story. Yeah, I didn't know how much I acted it out, honestly, until Ryan secretly videoed me one day doing it. I recorded her. She recorded me, and I heard it, and then she said, like, we have to post this on Instagram. This is going to be so great.
Yes.
But I was like, oh my gosh, I really get into the character.
You did.
It's too funny and, like, too good not to share.
It was too good. That was so good to watch. Like, that was.
Yeah, and I mean, so we read it aloud and kind of act it out in a way, and then like, we'll pause. You know, obviously we're just making sure we're satisfied with everything and everything reads well. And then in that process, we'll stop and say, like, oh, we really love this. Hold on. Yeah. And like, if we're sitting together, like, the hand goes up, the finger goes up, we're like, wait, hold on. Gotta grab it. And, yeah, if we miss something, we'll pull it. Or if it's something, like, we just loved in this round, we'll pull it. And we're like, okay, this one's cool. So that's probably the most fun because it gets us excited, and, you know, like, I think the hope is that it gets everyone excited, and
exactly,
you know, and like what's gonna like be like the most popular, and we'll like look at it and say, like, oh my god, this is gonna be like so fun, and, you know, like, yeah. So,
and that's like, even each cover, like, I don't know where you get your cover designs, but like they are all so beautiful, and like they stay true to like the couples on the front. Like, I love each cover of all 3 books in the Morelli Sisters series. Like, they are just perfect for the story.
Thank you. Yeah, covers are definitely important to us.
Mm-hmm.
We put our heart and soul into the covers. It has to be just so the characters have to look like the characters that we're writing about, and it's that in it of itself is like a process, honestly. Yeah, it's true. We always have a vision, but obviously, you know, the cover designers and the cover artists always take it, and then they like, yeah, I mean, they run with better. And I think like the big thing we have always is like, they have to be like even in their body language, because that's like a big part of it. You know, you're
right.
seeing their position. It has to be true to them. So picking up those vibes, like that's the most important, I think. And then it nails it down to like the way they dress, which I just love too.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely loved Bianca's knee-high boots on Say It Isn't So. That was like so up my alley. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, Allie's just a total like casual flip-flop kind of girl.
Yes. Yeah, I love how, like I said, how they speak to like each of y'all have really done a good process of like figuring out like what they look like. Can you, like, when you're writing the story, do you like picture what they would look like, or does it not come until like you start writing and then you start picturing like, okay, this is what this person looks like as I'm writing their scenes, or is that what comes to you first?
So I think the pictures come usually, the images of them, probably, you know, we had a leg up on that one because we wrote the first book and all of them were in it. So for me personally, their images came to my mind in the first book, and I've seen them ever since. And as I write the scenes, I can vividly see like every sister. And when we did the Say It Isn't So cover, I remember I said Bianca would totally wear knee-high boots. She would 100% wear knee-high boots. So I did, that was something I had an image of her in my head, and I just thought like, she would do that, she would strap herself stuff in those knee-high boots. Yeah, and like, those glasses. Totally necessary, yes. So,
yeah,
the image definitely comes from me in the beginning. Yeah, I think for me, I don't know if I had an image when I sat out with Perla in book 1 for Don't Tell Me Twice. I'm not sure, honestly. I think like I had some sort of maybe like, you know, I think because it was her book, I think that one is always so hard because it's the first of the series. Yeah, I think I like just kind of have almost like a blurry, view on her. And there's one scene in the book, and it doesn't come, obviously, until like a couple of chapters in, where you see everyone. And not just the family, but the key players and the key characters and friends that are going to be in the story. And that was where I think, like, I was able to close my eyes. For me, I remember that when we sat down and did that, I closed my eyes and I could, like, actually see them. And it kind of all came together, and I was like, oh, no, I get this now. Like, I got these, like, characters that we started.
Aww.
And you see the personalities. And for those of you who haven't read it, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's there. It's a chapter where there's a lot of people there. So.
Yeah, you heard her, everyone. You need to definitely check out the previous books in the Morelli Sisters series, as well as There Are No Words, because I have loved every single one, and every single one has been a 5-star read for me, so.
Oh my gosh, we love that. Thank you.
I'm so happy that I found you guys and your work, because, like, now I just want to do, like, a deep dive into your backlog and, like, read every single thing, because you are auto-buy authors for me. Like, I have said that before in the past, and I will say it in the future, so.
Well, the backlog is different. That's what we're going to say. It's definitely different. We wrote, our style of writing is different.
Mm-hmm.
Rom-com really did enter the picture in Don't Tell Me Twice. So I would say, if you're into contemporary romances and that tone of voice, then that backlog is your place. Yeah, for you. But yeah, that is something I would say. There's your asterisk. So yeah.
See, you have something for everyone. Like, if they want a closed door read, there's Don't Tell Me Twice. But, like, that book still had me sweating, okay? Like, that's how good it was.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And then you got the spicy, There Are No Words. Then you got Say It Isn't So, which is somewhere in the middle. And then, like you said, contemporary voice is, like, what is in your books leading up to the Morelli Sisters series. So you really do have, like, a great variety for, like, all types of readers.
Yeah, definitely. When we started this, we really did do it different, but we ended up finding our niche and exactly what we loved. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the rom-com. So, yeah. But, yeah, something for everyone.
Yeah.
This is true. No, I mean, the rom-coms were just so fun and so much more comfortable in a way. Like, that was, like, it was almost, like, chill.
Yeah.
Like the way we are and we talk. So it was easier compared to, I think, the contemporary romance style, just for our personalities, whereas this is more, it comes to us more naturally, and we're able to write faster because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love contemporary romance, and writing it was great.
Yeah.
So reading it is different, but it's definitely different. And I think, like, everyone has a certain voice, and it, like, lends itself to that, So I think we're just, we're I don't know.
Well, I think you...
Rom-com is definitely, probably writing the rom-com is better. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely struck gold with that genre and niche.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, and, like, when you talk about writing, like you said, it really does feel like your all's personality coming out. Like, I've talked to you enough, like, it really feels like you're just chatting with, like, a bunch of your fun, exciting friends and listening to their lives going through the Morelli Sisters series, and it's just, like, the fun, cozy vibes that you put off. And so, like, how long does it actually take you, like, once you get a story in your head? Like, is it something that you create within, like, a couple months, or does it lean more towards, like, half a year, or how does that process work for you?
That's so nice to hear that it's welcoming and that it comes across that way.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. Yeah, especially because it does sound a lot like us. So we do appreciate that always. But as for how long it takes us, I don't think there's a set time. I mean, it really depends on the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's flowing, I would say about a month.
Oh, wow.
Like 4 weeks is, like, the sweet spot, just for the writing. I mean, I'm not talking, like,
No, yeah.
For the writing, I'd say 4 weeks. I would say, though, Bianca and book 2 for Say It Isn't So took longer. But that book was also a beast of its own. I mean, that book was just, that was the longest. The longest, the slowest burn we've ever written. So that one, I would say, like, maybe that one took, like, 6 weeks, pushing 7, just to write it.
That still seems like really, really fast, though. So that's amazing that you guys can create that quickly.
Well, remember, there's 2 of us.
Yeah, that's true. That does help. So, like, I know you eventually started writing yourselves, but, like, I'm sure you was into reading, like, before then. If so, like, what are your actual favorite books? Like, I know you're authors, but, like, what genres or books or authors do you love to read about?
So So I think for me, mine would fall under fiction literature. I think that's what they would categorize it as, fiction literature. I categorize it more as just romance fiction, but definitely the Danielle Steele's, Nora Roberts.
Yeah.
And you love those, that's for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Janet Ivanovich, like all of those. Motor Mouth, my favorite book. I don't think there's like a Danielle Steele that's come out that she hasn't read. Yeah, that's true. Honestly, I get them all. It's just like auto buy for me. So yeah, that's mine. And sometimes I'll sprinkle in there like a romantic suspense because I like to be on the edge of my seat. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I would almost say, I mean, I love reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of that being on the edge of your seat, but like not reaching the point of thriller. So for me, my go-to always for like wanting to, unwind and have that moment to like sit down with a book is always a romantic suspense. That's for sure my like top pick.
Yeah.
And then I love like cozy like sleuth mysteries. I think those are just fun. And they have that romantic comedy vibe a lot of times. So for me, it's like those two are my favorite. And I love Nora Roberts. I mean, she's Nora Roberts. I do not love her.
Exactly. Who doesn't love her?
Yeah. I mean, and then Danielle Steele's like great too, and I love her. I started reading her when I was younger as well. So I think, I think definitely those two. But for me, romantic suspense, like 100%.
That's such a great genre. Like all of those are like I never really thought about like trying out new genres, but like I've noticed within the last few months I have learned to love like historical romance, Regency romance, literary fiction, like genres that I would never had thought. But then it's just like I basically read everything and anything now, so it's just like but those are definitely some of my favorites that you mentioned. So
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, and, like, I never really thought about, like, breaking them out either. I was like, oh, it's romance, same thing as, like, you guys were saying. But, yeah, I see it, too, under, like, genre for, like, Danielle Steele. They'll put her under, like, fiction literature, and I don't really think about it. To me, it's just romance.
Yeah.
So that's the way I categorize it. But, yeah, and it's funny you brought up Regency and, like, all that stuff. I have also read, like, all of them, and I feel like, well, those are my favorites. I can pick up almost any book and start reading it. I'm good with all the genres on this. This is true. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, like, where you find, your comfort place, too. Like, just being able to pick up anything and then, like, knowing, like, this is, like, something I just love.
Yeah.
And I think with romance, there's so many areas. That makes sense? I don't know. Yeah.
Exactly. There's like so many subgenres that I didn't even know existed until I got on Book Talk and Bookstagram, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so many options.
Yeah. And I don't know. I love that it like touches, like romance can touch so many things. Like I never would touch a thriller in my life.
Really?
I mean, I'd have to sleep with like the lights on. I'd be like terrified. But then, you sprinkle in the romance, and it's like, okay, now it's different. It's not a thriller anymore. It's like a little bit of suspense, and it's got a little bit of romance, and like that layer just makes almost it all better. So.
Well, it sounds like you have, both have good combinations to choose from because, like you said, it's literally so fun when you can basically pick up anything or like have so many different options to choose from, like in between your breaks writing, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's so important, and it helps, like, for me, like, unwind. Yeah. It's nice to do, to get out of, like, the head of the space of, like, everything we've created and kind of just go into something someone else has created for a second, and it does, it helps me, like, unwind and relax. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would be, like, seem like such a little escape, like, to take a step back from your own and then, like, get to dive into something else for a little bit.
Yeah, and you didn't have to create it, so it's
right. You get to enjoy it without all the work, so.
Yeah.
Speaking of work, do you have any, like, I know we are reaching sort of the end of the episode here, but, like, do you have anything you want to hint at exciting announcements that might be coming up soon, or what we can expect from Dani Ryan in the future?
Well, I would say keep an eye on our Instagram. February 28th, we have something interesting that we're going to be announcing. And we did not do subtle at all. No, subtlety isn't my thing. But that's what I would say, February 28th. Yeah, I mean, and for like anyone interested, There Are No Words may or may not have several Easter eggs. Easter eggs? Yes, Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So like one is a giant Easter egg. So yeah, so I would say definitely check out There Are No Words, and then February 28th you might know the answer. Yeah. Or before then. But I think like just in general, more of the same from us. Like we love the Morellis and we just love the style. So definitely more rom-com for sure. And you know, we have so many ideas for like new characters and new, you know, works.
Yeah, works.
Stories. And I don't know, but we're really enjoying the Morelli right now and this whole, you know, New York City vibe.
Yeah.
And Maria's next. So we're into that right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But we're excited. And that comes out May 6th. So we're definitely the same vibes from us, I would say, expect. And yeah, we have so many things in store. There is that one thing on February 28th. We are just like dying to share. But yeah, so I think like a lot of the same for sure.
That is great news. And you know that I'm already like can't wait for Maria's book as well. So I'm actually going to have to read There Are No Words again because after release, because I missed them already. So
that's the highest compliment, a reread. I love that.
Oh, I'm so glad. When I love something, I want to read it again. Like, you'll find me with it in my hands a few months later, be like, I just had to get back to this. So I'm very excited for everything.
I get you. You get this. Dani's our rereader for sure.
I love that.
Talking about like Twilight and Murder Mouth and probably 1,000 others, but definitely those here.
Yeah, see, exactly. She gets it. Well, you heard them, everyone. Be keeping an eye on their socials, and I will put where you can find Dani Ryan and connect with them in the description of this episode. And yeah, just keep an eye out for the announcements coming up. Thank you guys so much for being on, and I can't wait to see what the world thinks about everything.
Thank you so much for having us. We loved this. Yeah, this was fun, and we appreciate you and all of our readers. We cannot thank you all so much. I thank you enough for all the support and love the world to us.
Oh, of course. Well, I am so happy that, like I said, everybody gets to now see the third book in the series and just gets to, like, deep dive into everything that you all do because you do it so well. So thank you for creating all these stories for us to get to enjoy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I will wrap this episode up with please go check out their socials. And if you haven't read There Are No Words or any other book in the Morelli Sisters series, you know where to find them. So thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.